Has this ever happened to you? What about this? As gamers, these sorts of things happen all the time, which is why we made LCS Challengers League emotes. Impress your friends. Stop sucking. Make better choices.
Since subscribing to LCS Challengers, my confidence has never been higher.
And with 3 easy clicks, yours can too! Plus, you'll be directly supporting the players in the league.
So what are you waiting for? Come join us!
All right, one more matchup on the day for LCS Challengers as Maryville University take on Supernova. And I have to ask, I know you guys have the emotes. Did you get better at League after subbing? Because I didn't. I don't know if I'm entitled to a refund on this one.
The shill in me says yes. I got way better at League of Legends after I subscribed to LCS Challengers.
Sierra, I have to direct your attention to the disclaimer at the end. LCS Challengers is not responsible for any loss in performance, any decline in your mental health. I don't remember the rest of it. Any
Gym
LP
injuries, which at that point I feel like Kangas is in charge of and is liable for because he's.
Yeah, we can blame Kangas specifically, but not LCS Challengers, you know?
I don't know. I felt good earlier. I told y'all that earlier. I subbed and I ate broccoli for breakfast. I just ate the most cheese-filled, fattening chicken Alfredo I think I've ever had in my life, and it was delicious. And I don't know what my $5 did, but that's all aside. At least I got some
I will
cute
say
emotes.
your $5 went to support the teams and players, and that's what everybody else should do. Yeah.
And the emotes are dang cute. But enough
They
with
are
that.
so cute.
Let's start talking about our last series of the day, talking about Maryville University and Supernova. And we'll start talking about Maryville University first, because it is definitely a name when we look to League of Legends, especially in the developmental scene. It is a name that we heard of a lot, Beat.
That's right. I mean, Maryville, very successful across multiple esports titles, and especially in League of Legends as well. A team where they ended up getting a pretty top finish, their top 2 in CLOL. And coming off the back of that, had to play here in Challengers League Summer. Honestly, they didn't have a lot of time. And the first week kind of reflected that a little bit. This is a team that we have expected some good performances on. They ran the promotion tournament in spring, and they ran the qualifiers to earn the spot that they have here today. And hopefully in time, we'll start to see kind of what got them here in the first place.
Yeah, they want to see time be their friend. They want to try to pull everything together and get right on track. As our collegiate representative, our first, by the way, I think it's so huge. And especially the way that we've seen them really feed off of momentum as a team is super important to keep in mind moving forward as well.
Two, when we look at the record for Maryville University, sure, maybe Summer Split hasn't necessarily been the greatest, but you also got to keep in mind who they've been going up against. When your first week is going up against the likes of like TLC and EGC, it's not going to reflect as great as maybe a team like Supernova, who has had a fantastic start to the split. Do not get me wrong, but definitely a little bit of a different strength of schedule there. But talking a little bit more about the Supernova squad, I feel like too, a lot of things got shook up heading into summer, especially a lot of these rosters. And I think Mazel Supernova really encompasses that with where everybody kind of came on from.
They truly do. I think we saw great representation from Quacker at the beginning of the show when we were looking at him in contention for the top play of the week last week. But for me, it truly has been about Trevor's leadership coming into the team, wondering how that's affecting the rest of them. But the cohesion between Music and Robbie Bob has been super crucial. And Robbie Bob's been, even with some of the lackluster performances, really been on a tear when he's shown bright.
As well last week, Robbie Bob was 6, so Supernova putting up that 3-3, despite what's going up against them, is definitely impressive in its own rights. But you're talking about Music a little bit, and after one of their matches last week, there was the opportunity to sit down and talk with Music a little bit more, especially too, for me, I feel like he's been a bit of an unknown going into this. So let's see what was said in that interview.
How you compare yourself to like NA junglers, where would you put yourself just right out of the get-go, like on like a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd put myself a bit over middle of the pack. I think I have still improvement to do, and I think if I improve in the next split or two, I'm going to be a pretty good player. So I have that confidence in me to become pretty good.
I respect he's like, oh, I'm going to be above the middle of the pack beat, not like I'm going to be the best
Humble
out
king.
there out of anyone. Yeah, we got ourselves a humble king here.
For sure, and Music's an interesting one because I had never heard of him before going into Challengers League here in summer, and looking into him a little bit, he's a player who's spent a couple of years playing over in Europe in the ERLs, hasn't really made it past that tier 2 scene, has come to North America to see how he's going to be able to do it. I gotta say, he honestly looked pretty good in that first week, had some great plays, especially in the games that Supernova ended up winning. So he's someone I'm very interested in going forward.
And then on the contrary, we're said that we hadn't heard too much of Music, but of course, for the folks over at Maryville University, we have gotten to hear their names before, including Scary Jerry, and of course, Joshi got to hear what he had to say last week.
Yeah, this week's been rough. We've been playing 2 patches behind for like 3, yeah, I mean, we've been playing on 13-9 for 2 months. That's some cope. We're not playing the best right now, but I think like as we play better competition, we're going to be challenged more, and as long as we're able to rise to challenge and just learn off of, you know, the egregious amount of mistakes we're making, we'll be able to get a lot better. So that's the hope, yeah. We're going to learn from our mistakes.
Jerry, what do you guys have planned next for the rest of the split?
Hopefully a lot more wins. I think that's the plan right now. Just winning more games, playing better League of Legends. So yeah, I think next week we're going to go 3-3 at least, if not better. And, you know, you'll see us in the playoffs for sure, and we're going to go far.
I really love the mindset. They are no, slouches when it comes to knowing where they're at, where they're trying to be, and what their situation was coming into it. I'm a bit of a Maryville fan, but I think seeing a little bit of that readiness from them to take on the rest of the split is super important. That was after their first win of the split as well. So maybe a little bit of momentum going their way.
Hey, and you talked about them being a momentum-based team, so hey, they got that win. And, we're just looking for that improvement going on forward. So this is a big opportunity to show us that today as our draft is ready. And I'm going to send you two off to the Rift, and I'll see you after.
Alrighty, we'll go ahead and take this trip to the Rift as we get everything packed and ready to go for our trip. Our picks and bans have started. We got Maryville on this blue side with Supernova, rather. For some reason, I want to say suiting, but that's my LPL brain. We got Supernova there on the other side, maybe trying to represent after a lot of those up and down moments last week, where I know we talked about it a little bit before, but it is cool to see, especially I talked to Robbie Bob for something a little bit later on in the weekend, but they are confident, right? They are positive, and they're feeling like this kind of new, fresh start in week number 2 could be it.
Yeah, and it's really exciting looking on Maryville's side of things here. This matchup is interesting for a couple of reasons. And the thing that stands out to me the most is just the fact that Maryville, as a team, we didn't think right off the bat they would be top of the table. No, not at all. But we didn't expect them to go 1-5. Their first win coming from the very last game, from their 3rd day of week 1. So, against Supernova, who last week wouldn't have thought very much of truthfully going into the split, I thought this would just be an easy one, but actually, Supernova poses a very interesting challenge for Maryville, because now they had the opportunity to play on this patch more 13-11, and this opportunity to actually play against a team who is looking like, at the very least, middle of the pack. And it's going to give us an idea of where Maryville truly at, because I'm willing to give them a little bit of grace for week 1, just because it is true they've been playing on 13-9 for 2 months, and things are a little different now than they were then.
Yeah, I definitely expect there'd be a lot of blood in our last series. Good thing we saved the best for last, right? Get a lot of that skirmishing coming through. And speaking of skirmishing, got a lot of that taken off the board. Maryville fan away Cassante, and the Olaf, of course, towards Quacker, and the Zeri on that blue side. We get the Lucian, the Nico, and the LeBlanc band by Supernova. It will be the first pick by something that Maryville want to try to lead into their draft.
Right, I mean, that's a bold first pick. I know we're having fun, Quacker, with the Darius hover, but pick Milio right now. Thank you. It's interesting to see the first pick Vi come through here. It is a takeaway from Music, who's had some good performances on the champion, and also a good pick for Odd Orange, because Odd Orange is the player, despite being 1-5, has actually looked pretty good so far, has been a standout on Maryville University, and giving him this opportunity to have, considering what the champs are, a champion that can help you secure these all-ins, that cease and desist being so powerful and a big reason why she's in the meta.
It's also just something it classically goes to, and it also gives you that bridge building potential that we've kind of set up in 4 games before. This one, though, with this Yumi combo of the Aphelios, they have a big carry duo for Scary Jerry and Zyko. So I think that's huge, but then the response was Music wants to take the aggression, and you want to take the Jinx, which is also an answer we've typically seen in these patches into the Aphelios.
Yeah, and the thing that's most interesting too now is the fact that this is a good pick for Sketch. Historically, we've known him to be good on these hyper carries, pretty solid at team fighting his positioning, and that's a good pickup for him overall. You have the Kindred, we've seen it all day. It's got a pretty high win rate so far, and now all Supernova needs to do is run out this composition with some more frontline here. You have a Vi who is very clearly looking to jump Sketch in an alley, try and just take him out of the picture.
Stay away from the alley, Sketch.
Instantly.
Don't go there.
You got to be very careful, because this guy is looking for you. And that's why you need someone who can at least make space, make sure Scary Jerry can't get in the picture, and take advantage throwing out DPS.
We're looking at focuses for second phase at least. We got the Ahri and the Pantheon, so a little bit of mobility banned away by Get Back in the mid lane, and a lot of mobility from the top lane, but also a comfort champion for Niles, Mr. Captain America himself, off the table. We have that Gragas, the flexible kind of mid or top banned away, and potentially Maryville looking to even up that top lane matchup with the Malphite ban as their last one.
It's a pretty interesting one. Maybe they're thinking of the Cassante. We haven't seen, please, I really, just sit with me for a minute. I want them to pick
I'm
mid
standing,
here.
but I'm sitting.
Blind mid? Oh no, Cassante's taking, never mind. It's not as exciting anymore. You can get up now.
Okay, well, I can get up. All right, well, I was
You can get
already
up.
standing. So.
Oh, well, okay, great. So I'm picking mid, and he's still up. That's perfectly fine for Robbie Bob. Safe blind, and just give Quacker that counter pick in the top side. 2 big champions for him out of the picture in the Cassante and the Olaf. It is worth noting, used to be a Darius one trick as he started things off. I don't think we're going to see that one here today, but just planting a seed
comes
for
out
you guys
later.
to think about.
Just planting a seed, seeing what farmers do. It is the Gnar actually locked in for Niles. This is also something that they've found a lot of promise on. This will be the 4th game for him in the split so far on this pick, and it sets up a lot of team fighting, but also a lot of pressure from the side lanes. I do wonder what they want to round out with some strength from Get Back. Typically, you see Get Back with some mobile mids or things along those lines, carries in the mid lane, control mages. It will be the Azir.
And now, last pick, tank top lane. Please, for the love of sweet baby Jesus, just pick Ornn or Sion and call it a day.
You don't want the Darius or the Renekton?
That's fine too, actually.
Go!
That's fine. I can live with Renekton. It is a little more exciting, and the fact is, it does set up a lot of damage in that top side, a potential for a dive there for Music to end up showing up here. In those early levels, Gnar, so easy to take advantage of, and if you put Niles out of the game early, wrap it up.
Yeah, I love this composition from Supernova. They have tried and true mechanics to work through. They have a bot lane that looks good on its own. They will be putting a ton of pressure through Robbie Bob and Quacker, looking what these solo lanes can do to utilize Music as this Kindred to be aggressive into Odd-Orange.
So the only thing that kind of concerns me a little bit about Supernova's composition, no true tank. Quacker falls behind. It's not looking good, bro. You're betting a lot on this Renekton when it would have been very safer for you to go for something like the Ornn on the top side. But, you know, Supernova, they've been playing pretty well in that first week. Exceeded our expectations, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to let them cook.
Well, we're going to let them cook on the Rift. Let's see what kind of pots and pans they got today. It is Supernova on the red side. We got Maryville University on this blue side. Make sure you're spamming in chat who you think's going to take this dub. We got MU for Maryville, SN for Supernova. Maryville, from the end of last week, coming off their first win in the NACL as our first ever collegiate program, and Supernova have risen the ranks of amateur, have gone through their composition, picked up some pieces in the offseason, and trying to make things work.
And we already talked about what we're expecting from Supernova's side. And looking at Maryville, you still have Odd Orange, someone we know to be very aggressive in these early minutes, always able to find these gank angles, always able to help facilitate his laners. He's playing Vi. I need to see that come through because I'm looking at Supernova. Again, this is contingent on everything working out on the top side. Even going even is fine, right? As long as that happens, team fighting later on, I really like Supernova's chances. So getting the ball rolling for the side of Maryville is super important.
Honestly, at this point, I'm wondering how much does this DRX Kindred skin affect the matchup? Is
that DRX Kindred?
Like it is. It's with the chroma.
Oh, okay. It looks like Super Galaxy. That's why I got confused.
I do really like the Super Galaxy one too.
Yeah, right.
I recently, before they put out the Worlds one, I had bought the cat one or whatever, like the funny pet one they just put out, and I still have not used it a single time because the DRX one is just too cool. But speaking of, he's gonna need to be cool in looks, but also in effectiveness for Music, who I feel like at this point has really become a backbone structure for Supernova.
Right, and Music, a player I'm interested in. I already talked about how coming over from Europe, a player who I'm curious to see how he's going to perform, specifically not on the Vi. Some of his best games, I believe all the wins Supernova got last weekend were when he was playing the Vi. He got some incredible looks, some great plays coming through to help Supernova get those victories. The second one, especially against Wildcard, he had an incredible Vi game, but now he's playing on something more DPS oriented. And already we're seeing him, a little bit of thought into this early pathing. He's going to go ahead and dodge that Raptors ward. Keep everyone on Maryville guessing a little bit.
Keep them guessing as long as you can, honestly, on this kind of matchup. But that's where I do want to focus on Maryville a little bit, because they are coming into this second week with a week of scrim, which feels a lot better. Focus on the actual patch. Cooling down off of C-Lull. I think it can be a kind of reawakening for Maryville, and it will have to come off of a lot of these combos we've kind of known and loved, where Scary Jerry is their end-all be-all carry, but can they bridge that gap in the early parts of the game?
That's the hope. Right now, though, it's Quacker. Use that bit of prio a little bit. Is going to get some info. Also, help cover Music as he goes to pick up mark number 1. Surely it's going to be very easy for him to be able to do so. He's going to go ahead and get to stacking here. Nothing really in this early game from Odd Orange, the side of Maryville, but we're still keeping our eyes out. Level 6 is also a big spike for the Vi. And when you get access to that cease and desist, you're going to have a much easier time making plays happen.
All right, then I want to ask you, which combo would you rather have in a 2v2? The Annie Tibbers with the Marksman jungle, or point-and-click CC with an Azir mid?
Is that a trick
I'm not
question?
saying which side has which. That's all I'm saying.
I was asking, like, is that a trick question? Because I gotta say, oh, hold on.
Just some pokey poke.
A little bit. Nice trade coming through there from Scary Jerry. To answer your question, honestly, if we're just talking mid jungles, once we get to level 6, really favor Vi and Azir. The fact is, you do damage. You have a good amount of CC. I think that's where I'm leading towards. So there is going to be that advantage, which is why I was highlighting that top matchup being taken advantage of for Quacker, because this Renekton will be the difference for that Rift Herald fight.
Yeah, maybe bringing Robbie Bob and Music up to that top side at some point, but we'll see that top side pathing at least come through from Music, a little bit delayed. We have a dragon spawning. Again, just a bit of a win or if question if we're going to get a lot of early priority on that from Maryville, who will have a little bit of presence on the bottom side. It actually looks like Odd Orange is going to reset, so full tempo right now for Supernova earlier on.
Right, and Odd Orange wanted to deny the mark from his Raptors respawn, so that extra time will mean he's a little late. On the other side of the map, you can see Music is in the area, but Niles is playing this one pretty safely so far. Again, not a whole lot of activity right now, except for Scary Jerry and Zyko just chunking Sketch and Trevor.
I'm wondering at what point does Music decide to get involved in one of these lanes, or if he wants to circle back to the other side. Because, again, I do think this 2v2 down here is super crucial for Maryville's side for the carry potential, but especially for Supernova not to get caught. And Trevor goes down first blood under turret. Scary Jerry gets traded back. Emilio's too good, but first blood goes to Scary Jerry, and that's big.
Yeah, that is a bit of extra gold coming through here. You get a fast back, so it's not as big a deal that you're giving gold away to Trevor. I like that they're going for these sorts of things here. Ends up paying off.
That's what I say in my solo queue games, man.
Yeah,
quick back. I'm 35 minutes in. Quick back, right?
It's a quick back. Yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. But I
don't know if that's actually happened recently, but you know, like there's a memory somewhere.
I've said that as a meme when I do something like utterly terrible and die in like 30-minute games. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a fast back.
It was intentional.
Yeah, exactly. All calculated.
Hey, Music. Oh, we got a little tussle here. Auto Orange and Zyko have made the roam. Now the flashes. Music gets the flash over the wall though, and that combo of Zyko and Auto Orange pretty big. Get back, get low. Flashes are burned everywhere.
Holding that thought. Okay,
oh, no,
Robbie Bob.
Run away, get back.
He's following
Robbie Bob, you menace. No, run away. Okay,
you want to know,
Bear.
Lennon, I want you to think with me for a second. You know what would have just been the tech? If Robbie Bob waited a second and then executed in Raging Timbers, it would have meant fast. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay,
that's the ultimate tech. Robbie Bob gonna wish he had some tech here though. It does have the CC, but Auto Orange as well, hitting that cease and desist beautifully. And there's the combo coming alive. Get back gets the kill for Maryville.
And Robbie Bob overstaying his welcome just a little bit. It's gonna give gold over to Get Back, and this is what we were hoping for. If you're a fan of Maryville, being able to pick up that extra gold. Oh, the
Niles
spacing.
gets the thumbs up. Let's go. I love the confidence these two top laners play with, man.
Yeah. Good so far. Not much action from Supernova's side. A lot of it's been Maryville in looking for that fight on the top side, being able to force the kill onto Robbie Bob mid lane. Azir is that champion where you're going to be doing a lot of DPS later into the game. Any gold you pick up for yourself is more than welcome.
Let's see now with Music getting back on the map with all the objectives available, which one is going to pull the trigger first? It is Music onto the Rift Herald.
Yeah, worth noting, no Dominus up. Niles actually held on to his ultimate in that last exchange when he went Mega. So if there's a fight here, and Auto Orange actually wants to go for it, I mean, Get Back still has his ult too, so I like the chances if they actually wanted to force it.
Vision. The vision game from Supernova is just too good, and they capitalize, get that Rift Herald.
All right, fair enough. No contest coming through here from Maryville. Means that now Music has this objective to play around with. Could very well easily make that play happen on the bot side. Getting gold into this Jinx's pocket, I mean, that's going to be kind of a deciding factor here. You get Jinx a kill, this game is great for Supernova.
I mean, honestly, I need Music to get down here. This spot lane is not going the way of Sketch and Trevor. A decent amount of poke back and forth, but they are getting a little bit worse for wear down here as the poke continues to come in from Scary Jerry. He has so much sustain, and now he's just looking under tower, and they have to back from this. The wave is just going to be pushed hard, and that's already a plate down. Maybe another one soon to follow.
I gotta say, Scary Jerry Zyko playing this matchup really well. You're seeing Scary Jerry just constantly, playing with turret aggro, getting a lot of poke getting a lot of poke down here onto Sketch and Trevor, and you can see the CS lead that has resulted from it. They've had to back twice now as a wave is pushing into them. They've dropped a lot of golden experience as a result of it, and you're gonna see that culminate if a skirmish comes through on this bot side around the dragons, because you can see it. Scary Jerry, he's got a good lead ahead of, well, everybody.
One thing that will be the bane of any ADC's existence is a very scary crocodilian. And that is what Quacker will end up being if they continue to try to get something through him. But we're getting to the point where we haven't seen that bridge building there that we were highlighting for Supernova yet in this top trio. And it's leading to a lot of decision-making powers of Maryville, right? They're bringing Auto Orange down to the bottom side. We might finally have our 3v3.
yeah, I mean, we really needed something to happen on this top side of the map here. But speaking of bottom side, like you said, there is some vision down. Will spot out Music as he goes for this lane gank. I think they're gonna have the information now. Oh.
Auto Orange right around the corner. You got Supernova waiting in the wings as Dragon has been started. Jerry overextends. They will be able to capitalize on this.
There is an angle.
Yeah, there is an angle. They're waiting a long old time for this. Dragon's already about half health. They got to try to make something happen if they want to commit, but they don't have any form of engage.
That's the big thing here. You're waiting for Scary Jerry to do this.
All you had to do was wait for him to walk up and the traps don't connect. Go, you got double TPs.
You're all in
They
at this
want
point.
fights all night. Sketch getting low. Sketch trying to go for it. Sketch doesn't go down. Lamb's respite has been popped. But Megadar from Niles as Captain America has shown up to the fight. Sketch getting low. Get back, cleans him up. Robbie Bob gets pushed back. Music is down. A double kill for Odd Orange. And now it is Quacker and Robbie Bob versus Get Back in Odd Orange and Zyko. But it's still flashes available for Maryville, so they get out.
And this is still a big dub for Maryville University. The teleport coming through from Niles to help secure it all on top of the Chompers missing means that Maryville are the ones who find themselves ahead. They get the perfect angle that they were hoping for. But the trap, they just went a little too wide and the play was doomed from then on.
Ain't Yumi a stinker? That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all there is to say.
Literally so much utilized that it didn't even matter. Really, really good execution. We've talked about Odd Orange already in this one, talking about how he was kind of the best member showing up in their weekend of week number 1. And he's representing here. A lot of pace of play being played through him, and then capitalization for the all-in of Maryville.
Been working out well so far. The rotation is coming through, really dedicated to trying to get Jinx some plates, but unfortunately Sketch has to walk away. Doesn't actually get any of the gold. It's only going to go into Music's pocket. So you're just seeing deficits across the board for the side of Supernova, not able to take advantage of the Renekton pick that we were setting up in Champ Select, not able to really utilize the CC Robbie Bob has so far, and they've fallen behind as a result.
They have. And I still see a world where Quacker becomes unstoppable. And you still see a lot of strength with this top trio, but the stability of Maryville's composition is exactly where you would want them to be at. And they still have a lot of strength through Scary Jerry, who has a bit of a lead in his own right in terms of CS, but it is still a Yumi composition. And you don't want to be going into a lot of these team fights later on. It's Supernova that will be looking for picks to kick things off, get excited, and take the fight to Maryville.
This is why I was talking about Ornn in draft. It's the fact that if you were at this point even slightly behind as Ornn, you're not sweating as much as Quacker. But now as the Renekton, he's got a 7 CS lead, but you're really hoping for more, especially when you're playing into Gnar, which is supposed to be a good matchup for you. But that lack of jungle intervention that we talked about, Lennon, is starting to bite Maryville, or rather bite Supernova in the behind. Because now it's just going to be Scary Jerry being part of taking that first turret. I mean, he was leading the entire map in gold before. I don't want to see what it is now.
They're going to try to find Music here as well. Without any priority, you cannot do anything as the Kindred. All the way over the wall goes Odd Orange. Luckily has some safety with his teammates there. But really huge capitalization from Maryville over and over and over again in game number 1.
And this is a much better look from Maryville compared to what we saw last weekend. They weren't comfortable playing as a team. They were indecisive, and now that has completely changed. This is the Maryville that we know. And they've been playing so well here. In this game 1, they are putting the screws to Supernova as we see the gold numbers. We see the gold graph, and you can see it. Scary Jerry, Get Back, the 2 damage dealers of Maryville, just miles ahead of the rest of the map.
It gets even scarier when you know that they have that first dragon as well. Even though it was taken pretty late, they'll be able to start stacking that one up. And you're still trying to find marks or Music. 1 mark for 15 minutes. And now with a Rift Herald under tow here, Supernova, go ahead and start it up.
It's going to be nice and easy. Maryville aren't going to contest this one, partially because Supernova brought your entire team to Rift Herald number 2. They needed a win, Lennon, and they will commit what they need to get it for themselves. Now, it's just going to be where you drop it. Forcing a play, you knock down one of these outer turrets. It's a nice way for you to get some gold into your pocket, make up for what you've lost to Supernova, but it's tough. Yeah, it's
Okay,
tough.
a little one-on-one over here. Robbie Bob versus Niles. Robbie Bob tries to get that rocket belt. Niles gonna make it over to the turret here. Maybe not give over that kill to Quacker. Megnar comes out. The ulti has been utilized, but Music will clean up the kill and get another mark. Let's go, baby.
All right, this could actually be a pretty big deal. You're gonna basically sack that dragon and have Quacker TP away. You don't have to drop the Herald yet. Drop it to take the next turret, and that could be a big injection of gold into Supernova, who desperately need it right now.
Maryville, not one to be on the back foot. We're looking in mid if somebody stepped up. We'll be moving forward to try to defend this one. Should be able to secure these minions down as a charge in that top side comes through. Oh no, they didn't get it. Sketch in some trouble. Can't get him with the final tap. There it is. The lockdown comes through, and Auto Orange gets another kill.
Your mid and jungle showed top side. Sketch, that wave is not for you, brother, and he ends up getting punished for it big time. You do get a lot of gold on Supernova's side, but Sketch just letting the mid tier 1 turret go would have meant that Maryville weren't able to get as big of a trade back. Instead, they get a kill, they get a turret, and they get a dragon, which is net even.
Pretty big momentum swing here for Maryville, and it is Supernova moving bodies to this mid lane, try to crack some of these outer towers again, and just try to find any kind of momentum forward. There we go. We should be able to take this one down. A little sad B emote for Music.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. You have to rotate your entire team to get one tier 1 turret, and look at what that means on the side lane. Both Niles and Get Back have stacked these big waves that now need to be answered here, and that means that Maryville have the run of the map. They're gonna have an easy time setting up vision, resetting for gold, and getting back on the map in time for neutral objectives. Nothing's happening right now, but as Maryville, who cares? You're leading.
All right, so we sold on this Get Back Azir. Are we liking the answer into the Annie?
Yeah, I mean, Azir is good on this patch. Like, I promise. I just wasn't sure who was actually willing to play it. I think Spyrax had like 1 game on it. And besides that, I'm sold on Get Back Azir. It's a long way of me saying yes.
That is also his 3rd most played champion tied along with LeBlanc, but he's got like a 77% win rate almost with it.
Damn!
Which is pretty nuts, but it's also just in good combination with Auto Orange. I think they played around it very well. Also that top fight that bottom fight rather, leading their way early definitely helped. And it's just meant that they've been able to facilitate Scary Jerry to a point of power where he's almost 50 CS up Sketch, and now they're pushing on to tier 2 while Supernova look to trade on the other side.
And they're trading so much. They're hoping Quacker can solo defend the mid tier 2, but they are trading tier 2 for tier 2 at the very least. But with this rotation, this is going to be tough. You need to back right now.
Oh, Quacker. In some trouble, getting pushed up, knocked up, does flash, does get out. Robbie Bob punishes Maryville. Niles goes down too, and 2 members fall.
That's actually disastrous for Maryville University. Supernova, I mean, that is risky. Doesn't even begin to describe the plays that they were going for there, but Maryville couldn't actually punish it. It bites them in the rear. Music, he should be fine. He has ulti.
Gotta risk it for the biscuit. Maybe Scary Jerry trying to risk it here. Does have the final chapter healing him up. Moonlight Vigil comes back. Lambs or Spike, gotta be popped. So ulti used. Auto Orange coming to clean it up. But it is end up being Scary Jerry with the long shot that gets the kill. Then a carry down onto Robbie Bob now. Cracker was around the corner. He got TPs coming in from 2 members of Maryville. They're going for the deep flank with Niles, who doesn't have ulti but does have kills as a shutdown goes to Niles.
Oh, hold on. Sketch. Oh, yeah, he
was on a ward.
He was on a
ward.
ward.
I don't think you can take down the bane of all ADCs as a top laner, but you know what helps? Having your support with you.
Especially
and
having
going to
Millie.
Maryville.
Yeah, it is theirs by right. Instant 20-minute Baron coming through here. Nice try, Sketch. not able to secure that one. And we've just had this back and forth here of these insanely risky plays, mostly on Supernova's end. And we've had this gold swing as a result. Maryville, of course, are now back to this 2,000 gold lead they had before. And what little advantage Supernova got for themselves has ended.
Now we're hitting those 2-item spikes for a majority of Maryville. Oh!
You see that? You see that,
Is that a skyscraper? Or,
I know. Oh, wow. Okay, now that you said that, I can't unsee it.
Got him.
Yeah.
We did just get third mark for music. Still a bit behind tempo on that one. One
that's
more
brutal.
to hit that unlocking factor, but just going to need to find it somewhere else. We got Dragon in a minute. This is soul
Supernova.
point for Maryville.
Supernova, please be the team. I've been asking for it all day. Go top side. Please. You can't fight this Drake.
Hey, Maryville want to give them the fight they're looking for. He's actually not going to catch Quacker out there. I think Supernova need to reset their position a little bit. They're trying to push out mid lane with Sketch, but Maryville, they're looking for a tier 2 down here before the Dragon.
They're going to get it, Lennon. They have a Baron coming through here. They have 2.5 items. Scary Jerry on the Cephalios. Hey, oh, hold on. Unless.
Oh, Robbie Bob was looking for. He doesn't have flash though, so can't get that big insta Ibbers ulti. But Niles slow taking it with the cannon minion there. Does get that last turret take before the in-hit towers in mid lane. This is just oppression for Maryville right now.
Yeah, and Supernova constantly, with the deficit they find themselves in, they just keep moving as a 5-man unit all across the map, and it's constantly been punished.
Ooh, Robbie Bob pulls the trigger on the Auto Orange. You got the final chapter out, though. Couple ultis used on both sides. Flash burned by Auto Orange now. Maryville maybe feeling a little bit more scared to step up. A Scary Jerry says, I'm not scared.
No, you got a Yumi at your back, Azir with the Emperor's Divide and Cleanse. You're not scared of anything. And this is just going to be Maryville taking this turret eventually. And I like it on their end that they are actually leaving the Dragon up. They want to make sure they get this turret and then walk their way down, get the most they can out of the Baron buff, and then collect the Dragon that was always theirs.
And going back to our points from earlier, Maryville getting a week of scrims has seemingly gotten a good win condition for them in terms of how they want to approach draft. And I think that's so huge because that was one of our big question marks coming into this one, Pete.
That's right. And we've always known Maryville to be that kind of team where they play together well, they know how they want to play, and that's why that first week, again, we didn't think they'd be a top team, but week 1 surprised us. No one would have guessed 1-5 for Maryville. So that the fact that now they've had that week of practice, they've had that experience from this patch after playing a different 1-4 CLOL. Things have looked pretty good so far. I mean, we got to give props to Odd Orange. He's been finding the angles. He's been picking people off one by one with that cease and desist.
Been working out really well, and we're at a point where Scary Jerry's about to be at 3 items. The Aphelios turn on point, and you will just start winning team fights consecutively, even though you've already been kind of doing that. And now at Soul Point, you have a lot of decision-making power around the Rift as well. It is a state of the game, though, where it's a bit tricky because all that's left are the in-him towers, and we still highlighted that Supernova have a big catch-out team. So you do have to bide your time a little bit.
Right, and as we all know, with Jinx, a kind of champion where once you get her excited, she can carry these fights. So getting 1 kill can lead to Sketch carrying, especially now you have Kraken Slayer, you have the Infinity Edge. You do a lot of damage per se. Like, this is just a lot of damage, the most you can get with these 2 items. So Supernova's goal really is using Robbie Bob's stun, maybe Quacker as well, to blow somebody up and get this Jinx going.
As soon as you get those resets, or at least the excited point for Sketch, it'll be a really good moment. But trying to capitalize on mispositioning was Maryville. Trevor had to flash.
Yeah, you got to respect that immediately. 1 pick like that at this point could just lead to the end. Maryville, very confident to be able to make that happen. Speaking of, oh, I thought they were going to keep going.
Nanny, nanny, boo, boo.
I could see Nar saying that.
Love Get Back throwing up the Team Liquid emote, interestingly enough. But I think that we're at a position where the siege is not necessarily there without a full frontal assault from Maryville.
Yep.
So it's going to be a lot of seeing how Supernova can get some gold in their pockets here. I like that they were actually looking on denials, and they're looking again as he doesn't have Meganar. Far from it, however, he is tanking up over the wall. The auto attack from Annie just doesn't do it.
Oh, the Super Mega Death Rocket misses as well. No, not even close. Niles wasn't even sweating. And that's tough, because these are the kinds of plays you need to make as Supernova to, I mean, just hope that you can get yourself back into this one. You commit a lot. You spend a lot of time of Robbie Bob where he is not farming elsewhere to hope you can catch someone out, and the fact that Niles walks away, it really hurts, because that time was essentially wasted.
Thing is, though, the thing you can always hold this composition for Supernova is they have the coolest sounding abilities in their bottom lane. All right, you've paired up the combo. It's no longer across from each other. You got the Super Mega Death Rocket plus the Ultra Mega Fire Kick. We'll see if Super Mega comes up here soon, but that Ultra Mega is definitely going to be there. You got TP committed from Maryville here to the Baron. You want to try to pull this out, and
flanking Renekton.
Got Quacker behind him. If Auto Orange goes around. Maryville are so split right now. Get back goes down in the end. You got Mega
reset.
Niles, but he can't get the damage down. You do get the reset. Sketch is going off right now. That's another one. And Supernova are going just that. Scary Jerry stands against the world. Scary Jerry goes down. And Psycho 2. An ace for Supernova.
That's the fight. That's what we needed to see, Supernova. They get the Jinx excited, and they made it work. You see the flank TP from Quacker. It's the perfect angle, but look at Robbie Bob. Flash, stun, he got the job done, and after that, the rest is history. Sketch just makes it happen, brings the pain on the Jinx, and just like that, Supernova are in the game.
After all this time, Sketch was holding out on us, dog. Like, man, the man just pulls it out when it matters most. Scary Jerry trying to make something happen here, but there's just too much pressure from a double marksman composition who is starting to come online. You just got third item completed for Music. You're about to get your third for Sketch, and they want to take this momentum to the bank.
Yeah, I mean,
do it. Just go on the carousel and say, keep turning it.
It just keeps working. And now they've got so much gold's worth of stats on the side of Supernova here. They're going to deny the soul. They still have a stopwatch for Sketch and Robbie Bob to play for, which means these next couple of fights should just go that much smoother. They have a Baron in one fell swoop. You can see it in the gold graph. Almost 4K for Maryville has turned into 1,000 for Supernova.
Something that has plagued Maryville in almost all the time that I've casted them, known them, it is they are a momentum-based team. Every time it feels like they hit the rift. When things are going good, they look real damn good. They will control the map, they will choke you out. But as soon as things start going awry, you gotta start putting some question marks up, and that's for Maryville to dissuade us from. That is for them to answer these questions, because they had a lead, they had control, and now it's Supernova banging on their doorstep.
Oh man, Robbie Bob, he has the rocket belt. They have a lot of range to play with the cozy campfire. Auto Orange, oh wow. Looking like maybe he wanted to use that cease and desist. At this point, now you're just catching people out, making sure that nobody recalls a little too close to you. Close to ulting range, therefore the buy. And Maryville don't have really anything going for them at the moment here. You have Niles who shoved a big wave through the top side. It doesn't matter, Lennon.
I like the inhib take there, just at least getting something back to some extent, but the gold swing is definitely in favor of Supernova. Question is, they've lost a little bit of that momentum coming up here as Baron buff will be going down, and I think that now is where Maryville, with a little bit of stability, can find some stance back on the map. I want to see Supernova keep using this double marksman comp, though.
Yeah, and they have everything they need to do so. Still a couple stopwatches here. It's Music and Sketch who have them, and they're both at 3 items respectively. They're online, as powerful as can be with such a big spike coming through here, and it's Maryville who are trying to clear up some vision, basically move as this 4-man core and hope that you can catch somebody out, because you still have lockdown potential with that cease and desist there from Odd Orange. All he needs to do is catch someone out, someone by their lonesome who shouldn't be there, and that can be a big pick coming through here. But so far, none of that has happened.
Picks are oh so crucial. I love that we set this up for Supernova from the very beginning. It's like, you have a composition that requires a lot of execution. The question is, can you do it? We had a lot of stable picks from Maryville. Now we're getting a 31-minute game that is a slugfest we had laid out for. So here we are into this moment. A little bit of side lane pressure here. No objectives up on the map. The pick potential is still there for Supernova, and that's how they need to thrive.
And it's also there for Maryville. The big thing worth noting, Maryville are by no means out of the game. The thing that's so important for them in these coming fights is their ability to keep Scary Jerry alive and get back and output the damage.
Scary Jerry might be a little bit caught here. They're going to TP in. Robbie Bob coming with a Tibbers ulti and a flash. Can't find the angle there, but it's all 5 members of Supernova in mid lane. Got a split pushing Niles with TP available.
Oh, well, they got to make sure this is worth it. Mid inhib is already down, but Niles has an inhibitor he can take if they take too long. The thing I was also going to highlight that's so important, what really won it in that last fight for Supernova was also the fact that Quacker had a flank angle. This Renekton needs to be in a spot where he can threaten Scary Jerry, where he can threaten Get Back to blow them up. If that doesn't happen, Maryville can still make it work.
Niles playing with fire there. Can't get the inhib, but does get that turret. And I think huge stuff for Maryville to be able to play through this style that Supernova are putting. They keep fishing for the picks. They keep trying to fish down mid lane because that's their real big point of pressure right now. But it's just been buying time for this eventual dragon fight in a minute's time for Maryville.
And it's Maryville's Dragon Soul. One last big thing they can play for. They lose this and get wiped. We're late enough in the game that could close things out here for game 1. And this is only game 1. Remember that, Lennon. Still got another game of action, no matter how this one comes through. It's also worth noting, Robbie Bob, the only one who has teleport, has to be the one to match Niles. Niles is at a point where, with the base open the way it is, one wrong move, and we could get a backdoor.
I'm just surprised we haven't seen Hullbreaker complete for Niles yet.
I was thinking about it too.
In these team fights, though, I think that is of importance because without that, Maryville do lose a lot of their team fight potential. But right now, it's just been side lane focus. Supernova, they know they need to make something happy. Robbie Bob cannot get it. You got a TP coming in from Niles. He's about to have Meganar. Quacker getting oh so low. We'll get a Sterix gauge popped. But it is a stalemate in mid lane from the gusto of Supernova versus Maryville.
Well, no Meganar means you're going to be feeling pretty good about Supernova going in for this fight. Never mind.
That's a Moonlight Vigil and a half. He got the Breath of Life trying to get Supernova back to graces here, but they are pulling the trigger on moving to Baron. Dragon's already gone. That's Infernal Soul. Maryville just jumping straight behind him.
Oh, this is going to be tough. I'd honestly rather them go for a bush play. They might have to play for the turn. The Baron is already half done. Quacker, this is the angle we needed to see.
Oh, they're TPing in the base. Niles is going for the end. This is what Maryville planned the entire time. They don't care that you have Baron. They just want to keep you from your base. As now it is Get Back finishing the game.
Oh my God, is it over?
Nexus Towers while you have a fight in the Baron base.
He's still there.
I don't know if they can get this one. Niles,
they might just wipe them.
Wall up over the side, and that's huge stuff from Maryville. The inhib respawns, so Get Back's plan did not work, and Quacker, he gets one back, but Odd Orange finishes the job, and Get Back finishes game number 1 for Maryville.
They won it 4 versus 5, no less, Lennon. And even though it looked dicey for a moment, Supernova could not close it out. Maryville get their second win.
What a way to do it, too. What a way to start our last series of our first day of week 2. My goodness. Get Back throwing up that Dire Wolves emote there. A little bit of throwback to his past experiences. But great stuff from both teams. Love to see Supernova able to fight back to some extent. We got to take a bit of a breather, though. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with a halftime segment with Sierra.